want to speak on this side-by-side issue again. I can't leave it back, but it's got to be back for personal reasons, because I know the board surely didn't sponsor this ordinance because unanimously they voted it down just a few months ago. If the people, they said the constituents didn't want it, and I believe it. I have not talked to anybody in this town, but I don't talk to a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, I ain't talked to everybody. But I don't know anybody that wants it. I know the mayor had to be something to do with this ordinance being brought up, and for a person, this ordinance comes from somebody.
Yeah, but I had nothing to do with it.
It's supposed to be sponsored by somebody. If
It
the
is,
ordinance
it's
is,
not
doesn't
me.
mean it's supposed to be on. It's supposed to be sponsored
It
by an
wasn't
alderman.
me.
It just came out from the, no.
From the public. It was brought to
Well,
me
wait
and
a
I
minute,
said
just
I
a
would put it here.
Let me back up. I'm gonna use up my 3 minutes, then y'all can say what you
Okay.
want. I'm saying what I feel. Now, I recommend very strongly to this board, because you're being used or something. I wouldn't even let it get a motion tonight. So it's just, it's unanimous. And you said you talked to your constituents. I can't find constituents that want it. I'm sure there's some out there, very few. I do know there's only about 3 of them in this town. But I know there's about a half dozen at nighttime running around here all over the place. Lights out. Several people live up here, almost every night. It's bad enough we gotta do that. We don't want them here in daytime too. That's all I gotta say, but it shouldn't even get on the floor. It should die for lack of motion.
Mayor, may I comment to, Carl?
All I can say about it is, it was brought to me, brought to my attention, Brady. What you guys do is up to you. But if the public wants to vote on it, it's voted down, what's the difference? I don't care. You know, one way or another. I just did what I was asked to do.
Carl would like to.
I can respond back to that.
Okay,
If
go
the
ahead.
public wants that on the ballot, there's an avenue for it. It's the same as there was avenue whenever they try to get it disincorporated and everything. If they really feel strong, get your petition up like you do when you don't agree with what the board did. You get your petition, you get it signed, you get the right amount, you get anything on the ballot. I had never heard of anybody that wants to do that. But if the public really wants it, and you let it die, they'll get it end up and they'll go to the petition. That's what you do if you don't act what the board do. But I think the board thought they knew what they were doing that night, and they should stand behind it. And if somebody wants to get a petition up to get it on the ballot, they can. Feel free. That's democracy.
Well, I'd like to speak for the board. I think I can. You know, we did vote unanimously to not have the side-by-sides, and mainly because we haven't heard from our constituents anything about it. Mostly, no one came to us and said they wanted the side-by-sides, but when we mentioned the question, they said they didn't want to have the side-by-sides. So I had to vote for my ward, and I voted for Ward 1. They didn't want the side-by-sides. I'm surprised, and I don't know if you're surprised, other aldermen, that this is on our agenda tonight.
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But take it off, I don't care. If you don't want to vote on it, you don't want it on there, it really doesn't make me any different. Bull my butt, it don't. You want to argue about it, it don't.
I've done said what I feel. I'm not going to get thrown out. I'm not going to get no argument. I've spoke my piece and I'm through now.
I said mine too.
I think that solves that situation there.
Oh, put them back on there again. Okay, anybody else want to speak?
Don Martin?
What happened to the toy drive?
I haven't, the fire department was supposed to bring barrels and everything to the fire department. Frankie and them, we're supposed to put barrels, but I ain't had time. I don't know what happened. I really don't.
Well, it's
But,
talked about at the meeting, didn't it?
yeah, I know. Well, somehow or some way, I'll get some barrels out if I have to do it myself.
It's too late now.
No, it ain't. We got 2 weeks.
We could work on it, Tom. We don't want to let the kids suffer.
we can dig up, and big cardboard boxes were, just wrap them in Christmas paper.
Where would the locations be for the barrels?
Well, the only place you could put them here in town is our place and over there, and the bank.
Why don't we go into the city hall?
There's two of them next
place,
door.
Yeah, and at least
I
let
thought
everybody
there
know.
was.
Good.
Okay, that's done. Okay. I'm figuring where I'm at here.
Unfinished.
Right.
Fire department and sewage treatment plant.
Alright. Last month you voted on me getting the bundle package for internet and voice for the fire department and the sewage treatment plant. I went to sign up for that. First bad sign, the deal had gone up $10. Second bad deal, when I put in the phone numbers, it rejected it, saying that, oh, you can't sign up because you're an existing customer. It's only for new customers bringing in new numbers from other carriers.
Oh,
Also, if you look in your packet, and if you want to just add internet alone, a la carte, let's say, I got this in your packet, $40 for 5 megabits and per bytes, and $50 for 18 megabytes. At the sewage treatment plant, you'll see the bill. Last month it was $82.47. Our plan expired, so now our monthly bill is $186.33, and that's just for voice. Now, typically, I would call them up, oh, put me in another 12-month contract, you know, and get the price back down. But I didn't want to commit to that until the board makes a decision on what avenue you want to go with this.
yeah, I think that Rose has a statement to this
I
effect.
do, and I was looking at, after our meeting, I've been doing a lot of searching on this stuff, and my feeling for the sewer plant, as far as having internet, I wanted to see how much our telephone bill was for the sewer plant, which you said is $82.47. To me, that's kind of high. I mean, I know that they have some long distance calls that they need to make and those kinds of things. And we were talking about the internet for them. My feeling on that is they don't send a lot of things, the forms or, you know, like the sewer, or the fire department does. So in my opinion is, I really don't know if we really need to have that internet service for the sewer plant. I think the telephone bill would be just enough, because if we have forms or we have documentation that we need to send to somewhere, DNR or whoever it is, we can always come down here and have you do that, because it's just a few little things that we need to have. So I'm not really sure if that would be feasible for the sewer plant to have internet service. I think just the phone bill would be enough, the phone would be enough.
Do you know what they were using it for, actually?
Mike, do you know what they would
What the
use?
necessity was.
As far as what forms do we send, would we need to send electronically?
Well, right now, I know we send the DMRs once a month. Like I said in the last meeting, it was asked because Frankie wasn't present. That's the only thing as of right now that we send out, but there is other things it could be used for. But as far as when you ask, what's the one thing that it has to be used for, it's the DMRs, am I correct?
DMR, but turn around and, I mean, in the near future, I don't know what DNR is gonna do in the near future, that, you know, like your sludge, reports, your INI reports, your, daily log on your DMRs that you do now, it's gonna come down, you know, probably in the near future, they're gonna want all this done online. So, right now, it's just the electronic DMR that's going out, in which I do that off my phone, because I got my smartphone, I can actually just do it there, and, you know, because like here, City Hall don't have a photocopier to actually scan it and put it on the screen of the computer and stuff. Me, all I do is take a picture of it and load it up on their site and send it to them, which I don't have a problem doing it. That's the only thing I'm doing right now. But if it comes down, they want daily logs, and the sludge report and the INI report, and you know, on a monthly basis, then, you know, we might have to get the internet down the road for that. So
Okay.
right now,
Okay, Frank, we hear you about that. Let me interrupt you here and just say this. This is a $1,000 a year expense, and we're looking at having a special meeting in January to try to balance this budget. And we're gonna balance the budget. It's gonna be a lot of hard work. It's gonna be giving up what you're talking about doing. It's gonna be coming down to the house here, and if we have to buy a photocopier for $150 versus $1,000 a year to be able to do it from the sewer plant, we're gonna have to do that. So let's just go ahead and take Rose's advice. I don't know how y'all feel about this, and go ahead and reduce our future
Well,
costs.
that there, I don't have a problem with. Like I
Yeah.
said, I ain't got a problem with doing that on my phone. I mean, like, with the fire department, the, internet access, having to do reports every time we get called out. Now, with the new CAD system, having to pull up the reports instead of them faxing it to us. The other thing is training that we have online that we can't actually do offline, we gotta do it online. That's what I'm worried about. Like I said, with the sewer plant, me doing that on my phone there, that don't bother me at all doing that. If it ever comes down to it with having to do everything online, then I can see it.
Okay.
And I'm not worried, I'm not talking about the fire department, because that is probably a necessity for
Yeah.
that, with all the things that you have. But whereas with the sewer plant, it's not, it wouldn't be utilized as much.
Yeah, it
as
wouldn't be
would
feasible.
that. So we're looking at if we were to do just for the fire department, how much are they asking us to do that for?
We can, this page here, we can add internet to the fire department for $40 a month for the 5 megabytes, or $50 a month for the 18 megabytes.
So,
And just add it on as a separate thing.
so how much is the fire department monthly telephone bill?
It's about the 82.
About $82 a month?
Right. So if we're not gonna get internet at the sewage treatment plant, then I'll renegotiate this deal and get it back to $82 like it is.
Yeah, David, thank you for that work, and I'm glad you looked into it. You don't know it until you call and try to make those arrangements.
And you wanna add internet, we go ahead and have internet put on the fire department, or you wanna wait on that?
No, we just definitely wait on
We're
it.
waiting for that. Alright.
Can you look into that, bring it up on the next meeting?
Yeah, I mean, it's,
Right there, it's 40.
yeah, it's gonna be these two numbers,
Okay.
unless they jump up like they did with the other one, but yeah.
Yeah.
As of right now, it's 40 or 50 bucks.
Okay, find out for sure, make sure that's, what
Yeah,
it's
I'll get back
gonna
on it, so it's still
Make sure.
that deal. And I'll put it on,
Okay.
I'll put it on next month.
We need to vote to give the employees a Christmas bonus. If we're gonna give them a bonus.
Who are those employees?
Frankie and Mike and
Me and Tim.
you and I would think that. Four of them.
I wanna make a motion to, approve that. Yeah. Christmas bonus. You wanna talk about the amount or anything, or just-
Do we have the set amount we always do?
You gotta send them out, don't you?
Yeah, what we normally do is it's half a week, which is 20 hours added to their checks, and a $25 Walmart gift card. And we've been doing it ever since I've been here, long before I got here as well. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a minute, a second here.
I would just have
All
a
those
four.
in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Alright.
Okay, we're gonna have the department reports. You're first.
Are we gonna do this in one time, or?
No,
It's done?
it's, I ain't gonna be blank,
Okay.
that,
Alright.
we're just gonna go to the department report.
Alright, FEMA sent me a thing, it's in your packets there. There's some organization that will make, free of charge to us, historic flood signs. Like, we can put pictures of like a flooded building or something, and write a story of, the water got this high and did this or that. I mean, I just put it in there, something that maybe the tourism committee might wanna look at, or, because it won't cost us a thing, all we do is just put the information out to them. And, so, let me know if I can help, or,
That would be something that'd be good to be in our little park.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Let's mark that, follow up on it.
cool, that's all I got.
Fire department,
We had 6 calls, 1 motor vehicle accident, and 5 medical calls. The other thing is I talked to you guys the last time when I was at a meeting about 41, 42 was done already. Everything's good on it. 41 has carburetor problems. Me and Joe was looking into it, on the carburetor. We have to send the carburetor off to a company, which it would take 2 weeks, the truck would be down for 2 weeks, and they're gonna go through and rebuild the whole carburetor, 'cause that kind of carburetor they do not make anymore, so they would have to rebuild it. And if we go with the carburetor, a new carburetor, we're gonna be spending a lot more money, like in the thousands, so, for that big of a carburetor. So what it was gonna be is we was gonna send it off, it was gonna be, for the carburetor to be fixed, send off, and send it back, because we gotta pay shipping and handling both ways, for it to turn around. It was gonna be close to $500 to get it done.
Frank, do you have this in writing?
Actually, it's actually on Joe's desk.
Okay,
So,
when you come to our meetings and you have these numbers, and you do often,
well, I mean, if I do the writing on this stuff and turn around, and that's the other thing, I have a problem with you about. When it comes to me speaking out for the department that I work for the city that I work for, and
And the
I
board you
explain
answer
to
to,
what's
we ask you to
what's
have these
going
things in
on.
writing.
Hey,
we ask you to
listen
have,
here,
we ask
listen
you to
here.
have these
I'm
things in
talking.
writing.
Hey,
You're not
hey,
about to be removed from the hall.
You're
now,
about to be removed
Yeah.
from the hall.
We only simply ask you to put these things in
oh,
writing.
don't, yeah.
Only
I'm
in
gonna
writing.
tell you something right now.
In writing, Frank, we have to have it.
You
that
say
way.
I get my words mixed up? I'm not gonna get my words mixed up for the state.
We're
The
telling,
state's
we're
involved.
telling you, we need to have your recommendations in writing. That's all. That's all.
Well,
we
I'm
need
gonna
to have.
tell you right now. You
Raising
want,
your
you
voice
wanna
at
call
me
the
to ask
company,
you-
you can call the company. Because I'm
asking you
talking
to
to
have
a
it
man
right.
on the phone.
Mayor, we're gonna have this fire chief removed from this room if we don't get to calm down. Going forward, when you have some type of an estimate, it's always best to bring it in writing. That's all I'm asking you. I'm just saying, Frank, if you've got a $500 expenditure, if you bring it to our board, we can record this and we can take a look at it. Just try to do these things from
Well,
memory,
you know, the thing
and then the
about it
next
is-
meeting, it might be that it might not be that number, and we just need to have the correct numbers, and I think that we've always asked for that.
Well, here, I'll write you a diary for everything I do.
All we need is to have it in writing.
Sounds
Just
good?
an estimate, okay?
All right, yeah.
All right. Is that the end of your report?
No, I ain't in my report.
Okay.
The other thing is too, is we got accepted for the conservation grant, for a new pump. It's gonna be $4,200 and some dollars. So the conservation is gonna pay $2,190. So the fire department's gonna come up with the rest of that money, turn around from our fundraiser money in anyways. So, that there's gonna be what we're gonna be getting here before long. The other thing is on the, there's trainings that's coming up. We got a training Saturday, in Perryville. It's gonna be over utilities. Anyway, so we turn around and I got a few guys that's probably gonna be going to that tonight. I got a few guys going to Zell. They got a dollhouse simulator, where they do backflow and or a backdraft and a flashover. It's basically a dollhouse built and they set it on fire and they show you what actually happens in an actual house fire. So anyways, that's all I have to report.
So what's the grant for the conservation grant?
The conservation grant's for a 18 horse pump for the back of our tanker. Right now we got a 8 horse pump on the back of it. Anyways, it don't hook up to our apparatuses if we got to pump water over to them. We're only able to dump really right now. So we was wanting to get a bigger engine for the back of it with more pressure behind it so we can actually push 2.5-inch hose to another apparatus. Like for on long distance driveways and stuff that we can't put a bunch of apparatuses into.
So they're giving you $2,190?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, it's a 50-50 grant. So what it is they pay half of it, we pay half of it, in which we will be putting that out from our fundraiser money that we get, from barbecues. So
Is that it, then?
oh, that's it.
Okay. And now we got the police department.
There's only 45 calls since getting colder, everybody's staying inside. But I noticed some illegal dumping. It brought to my attention over there at the railroad dumpster. So they asked me to keep an eye on that, try to spot somebody. I went over, I put on my gloves and looked through the top bag. Didn't see anything with an address on it. So I wasn't able to find out who exactly was putting it in.
So is it personal household things? Or
Yeah, it was
okay.
stuff like old Kleenex boxes, diapers.
Okay.
So, but I don't know if it's people from the city or from the island or somebody just passing through and decided to dump it. There was an open door that I noticed on, I think it's a yellow house, right across from Carl's, the abandoned house. But it looked like the kitchen area, like I guess whenever they were remodeling, they took off the door. So I don't know if there's a way to contact them to maybe put up a board at least. So I know that nobody's going in there, no animals are getting in.
Have you checked into that to see if there's, like, who owns it,
Well,
who's?
I remember a while back there was a group of people that were trying to fix it up, and then they kind of disappeared.
Do we know who owns the house?
Not sure, I'd have to.
That probably
And that,
That'd probably be the first step, is check, see who owns
It's
the
the
house and
same
get a hold of
people, it's the same people that own the house we demolished. There's this lady, she's got like 40 LLCs.
it. Yeah.
I think it's called Easy Finance or something, or it's either New Era or Easy Finance. It's these people, good luck, get in contact with them.
So have you tried to contact them at all, or?
I remember in the summer whenever the grass was getting high, I had to contact people, and that was one of the houses. But I was able to track down the people as they were working on it. So I have found out who's the actual owner now.
Okay, well, I think I'll probably do that next, to find out who owns it, get a hold of them, if not, then we need to start getting citations from somebody.
We got 2 down here, we got 1 up here, and we got them all over that need to go down. And I've been trying to work on it, trying to get something done, and it seems like all I did is smack in the face.
Yeah, the ladies are.
I don't know
Are
what
we getting citations out to these, or warrants out for them?
Oh, yeah, I got 2 active warrants on her for citations on the house we
And
demolished.
you need to go to the courthouse and get it condemned, and that way we can tear it down. If you got all that citation and that money again,
I was in the process of going through the condemnation on that one, and then the lady came to our meeting and said, oh, don't tear it down, I'm gonna fix it up, it's my dream house, give me 6 months, and
Yeah, she
so the
said
board gave
6
her
months.
extension, and then, yeah, they just disappeared. So,
Well, I think we need ball roll on that, especially that's a hazard for, safety, with that door gone, I mean, anybody could go in there.
Yeah,
with
'cause I don't
a
know if
certain-
people are going in there at night,
Right.
sleeping in there.
did you ever see them 2 down there, no windows, no doors, no nothing?
And there's one medical call, a fall, up there, Marion Cliff. And there's some shots fired back towards the cemetery. And it ended up being somebody just sighting on their rifle for deer season. So. And then one theft. And that was all that happened in November. And then I got October's report too.
So you're keeping us safe, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying. And we got the car back from the shop, repair steering.
That's good.
Yeah.
Works a lot better.
Yeah. So, that's all I had.
Thanks, Tim. Okay, we got Cody.
The guys worked on 6 grinders, but it got brought up to my attention that we need to have a secondary water operator. So we need to see if we can send Frankie or send somebody else so we can have a secondary operator on that. State would like to have 2 operators, just in case something happens.
How does that work out, Cody? How do we do that? Get this training done?
It's actually, how long is that class?
6 weeks.
6-week class that they have to go, or he has to go to, and
And then after the class, or after your 6 weeks, going to class, then you go, and take the test.
So we pay for the class, and do we pay you to go to the class? Is that how it works?
I believe so.
Don't we have vouchers, don't we? We
Right,
use
we got
vouchers.
like $600
certified? Do you have to do something every year to keep up with that, or?
Well, they have classes out there that they offer throughout the year, and you go to these classes and you get, you gotta keep up your points on water and the sewer, and they have classes that you go to, and they, by going to the classes, you gain points, to, keep your license. But once again, you use the vouchers to go to the classes that they offer. Whether it's basically some sort of a training kind of deal.
And that's ongoing year round, and you just get
Yeah.
involved in the program?
Yeah, I mean, if they might have a class they offer 2 or 3 times a year, but you're going for mainly to get knowledge, and to gain the point system to keep your license. But like I said, that's what the vouchers are for too, so it's not like, the city spends money to go to these classes.
Mhm. But we pay the employee to go. And
Yeah,
then-
you pay,
and it's a 6-week program, I just wanted to get.
It's not
It's not
a
a-
5-day deal for 6 weeks, it's like two days out of the week for 6 weeks.
Oh, that's how it works, okay. I just wanted to know that.
That's all I got.
Street department, roads.
Right now, I don't have anything to report.
Park and cemetery, Jennifer.
I don't have anything to report tonight.
Animal control. Anybody, they know. Anybody else got anything to say? We got
DNR,
citizens participation.
DNR was in town the other day. Did we get a report?
No, not yet.
We're getting one. I would like to say something just to wrap up. We have a special meeting coming up in January about our budget, especially about our water and about our water expenses. And this has been something that's been, Dave, you put a letter in our packet last meeting about the seriousness about that. And I want to tell the citizens of St. Mary that we're going to be addressing this water issue in our city. And we're going to be really monitoring and taking a better look at how we're using our water and how we're paying for it. And we're going to get our arms around a tighter budget when it's concerned water. I think one of the things that were in that letter was that we felt that we might have to raise our water rates in order to cover these expenses, and we don't want to do that as a board. We want to balance this budget. We don't want to make payments to anybody on the backs of the citizens of St. Mary. So when we talk about bringing your information to the city hall, all we're simply asking for, if you've got an expense by an employee or by an alderman, is that we want 3 bids, and we want it in writing, and we want your estimates in writing, because we're going to work hard to meet our budget once we put this budget together. But we're going to put together a balanced budget in January. It's going to be tough. And but we just want the city of St. Mary and the citizens to know we're working hard